What kind of technology did you use when you were a kid?
Well, I remember when we got our first handheld calculator. That was a big deal. And I remember when we got an Atari, which was the first game system we had. And I remember when VCRs came out, that was a really big deal, that you could stop and pause a movie.
What did you use for movies before you had VCRs?
You went to the movies. That's it. There
Okay.
wasn't anything before that. And for TV, we had 3 channels, and you had to get up and turn the dial on the TV to change the volume and to change the channel. And after school, we'd watch. We were allowed to watch an hour of TV after school.
What did you watch?
Oh, Gilligan's Island and The Roadrunner, Bugs Bunny. And Saturday mornings we got to watch cartoons for a few hours. And then that was about it. In the 4th grade, I remember we got the first little handheld video game. It was a little football game. That was a big hit on the playground.
Did you ever go to the arcades or anything?
Mm-hmm. When I was older, we went to the arcades, and all the kids did. Everybody was looking for a side job so they could make money and have quarters to go to the arcades. It was a really big deal. We'd go after. When I was older, we'd go after school. And during junior high, we'd walk. There was an arcade downtown Fulton, and we'd walk down there and play video games for an hour or two. But it was hard to have the money to do it, you know. So, but it was fun. And as far as music, when I was little, my grandmother had a Victrola that you hand cranked. There was a crank you had to crank on the side, and she had all these records, but they were all really old, from like 1912, you know. And we'd listen to those, and then we had a radio, and then my mom had a newer record player, and she had some records. She had an original Beatles album and John Denver, and there was a bunch of different albums Mom had, and we would listen to those. And then later, 8-tracks came out, and that was a big deal because you could rewind them. See? But you had to jump from track to track, which wasn't necessarily where a song would start. It's hard to explain. But that was a big deal. And then cassette tapes and stuff, so.
Did you have any like DVDs or?
There was no such thing.
Did you?
No
what
such
type
thing.
of TV did you have?
There
Like,
was
it
no such
color
thing.
TV?
It was a black and white. We had a little black and white TV that my mom had gotten in college. And the screen was little, like, it might have been 13 inches across. And that was it. That's what we had. And then when I was probably about in kindergarten, my grandparents bought a great big floor model color TV. And that was just wild because it was in color. The first time we, had one. So we would go up there. We would go to their house when certain programs were on that my parents wanted to see. We'd all go up there to watch it on a color TV.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Yep.